Hi, this is Dave Forster, and you're probably aware that we have some news over the weekend about the meeting tomorrow. And one of the ways you can tell how much movement is expected in options is built into the price of the options. That doesn't necessarily mean it's correct, but that's one of the unique things about options is that they try to price in the amount of movement that the underlying stock index or ETF is pricing into the move. So with SPX trading right around 68.12, I thought I'd give you an idea of how you can tell how much of a move is priced in. And I'm going to look at the nearest term expiration that includes Monday. So this will be Monday's expiration, since we need to go past when the expected news is going to happen. And then you can look at the price to either buy a straddle or a strangle. So in this case, since 68.12 and change is right in between 68.10 and 68.15, I would choose the cost to buy a strangle. If we were right at 68.15, I would look at the cost to buy a straddle. So what I'm going to do on Thinkorswim here, they make it pretty easy. And I can just right click and then select buy a strangle. So what this will do is give me an idea of the cost if I were to buy a 68.15 call and a 68.10 put expiring on Monday. So this is exactly $60 in terms of what the cost of this is. So where I can tie this in with my trading is take a look at where we're trading on the charts now. All right, and I zoomed in a little bit here. So given the current price that we're looking at, 68.12, we just add on the $60 to buy the strangle roughly. And if we moved up $60, we can get an idea of where would that put us. Would that take out some different resistance levels? Where would that put us? So that would take us right around 68.72, which isn't too far away from, a little bit below 6,900. So there's some potential resistance there. That would be right around where we were trading back on March 4th. And then if we were to drop the 60 points, then that would take us into the gap. And this gap here, is basically a support zone. So if you're ever wondering, how much of a move is already priced into an option ahead of some type of news event, whether it's the war going on in the Middle East, Fed meeting, whatever it might be, you can take a look at the cost to buy a straddle if you're in between two strikes, or actually a strangle if you're in between two strikes, or a straddle if you're right at a particular strike. They're going to be pretty similar, but all right, hope that helped, and have a great weekend. Also, actually, take a look at, if you go to bctnow.com/join, you can get a 30-day trial for just $7. So check that out, and hope you have a great weekend.